What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chillporial. I know it's been a while, but hey, I've been busy. But with us, I figure, I've talked to him online. Figured we'd have him on for his ever first Chillporial. We have Wheel of Time expert, book cloak himself, Pixcalcis. How you doing? Good to
Doing good,
have you for
Brian.
the first time on this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I got a question. Where Pixcalcis? How'd you come up with that name?
It was in high school. We had to do come up with like some sort of name in Latin class, and this is just a bastardization of Latin for Tar Heel, which is like the state that I'm in. So um, I just kind of changed it so I like the look of it a little better, and it kind of stuck after that.
Oh, okay. So interesting. I never took Latin, so only thing I know is all I know is that Spanish, French, and Italian are derived from Latin, and of course, your Six Semper Tyrannis, and I'm trying to think what else. What other famous E pluribus unum? Yeah, like all the familiar Latin expressions that we in the U.S. Know. So, uh, so I figure, I think the first time I talked to you, you're on the band of the Red Hand with all of those toxic book cloaks, white cloaks that we come to call. So the thing that I noticed was that you had a Paper Luigi avatar. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to start talking to you because I've been a Nintendo fan longer than I've been a fan of anything else, including Star Trek. So there's always been, even though I haven't played a lot of video games for a while now, even Nintendo games, it still holds a holds a deep place in my heart. So I love to talk about Nintendo stuff. So it's how I've connected with a whole lot of people on this platform. So, but yeah, I'm curious how you got your Nintendo. I'm curious how you got your Nintendo start.
I mean, my dad, my dad had an NES back when I was really little. Probably, possibly before I was born, or right around the time I was born. He got one fairly early, and so I've always had it. And I had a cousin that was really into video games too, and she had NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, like all the systems at the time. So I'd always go over there and play. But yeah, we've always had Mario, Duck Hunt, and all that, even from as long as I can remember. So that's it's always gone from there.
What was the first game you played? First Mario game?
Oh, that was the original Mario Brothers.
Original Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah,
or the
Super Mario
original
Brothers.
Mario Brothers? That's different.
Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers. Okay, yeah, I got the NES myself when I was real young. It was late '80s. I don't know how old you are. I'm 40 now. I'm almost 41. So I was real young in the late '80s. So '89 they were selling NESs like hotcakes, and my parents decided to buy one. And I thought it was a new type of cartoon, the
Mhm.
NES, with all the pixelated and all that. And I like, oh, there's a controller, like the VCR controller, like the TV controller in the living room, because my parents had I had one of those really old TVs that we had in the TV room, which is where we put the NES. But
Mhm.
in the front room where we had the big TV, that one was a little more advanced and had a remote control, which I always had to give to my dad. So every
Yeah.
time he always asked me. So but yeah, it was just an interesting thing to learn to play. And I ended up, my parents played it first. They showed me how to play it, and then I played it, and then I got better. I got better than them at the thing. So the one thing that I was better than my parents, I was playing Super Mario Bros. I actually got past level 2, 3, which is the one where you have to run across the bridge and the sheeps
Uh huh.
are flying, trying to hit you and all that. My parents can never get past. There's the last obstacle are 3 segmented platforms that you have to jump over. My parents would just keep running and try to jump over
Hmm.
all of them, and they would fall. So
My,
the thing is, you gotta slow down and then jump over them.
no, that level you run nonstop. But for Super Mario Brothers, this is before I can remember. But my mom always told me when my dad got that, he played it and 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 played it, and died constantly. And he finally thought he beat the game, got to Bowser's castle, thought he beat the game, got past Bowser, and then it told him that the princess was in another castle, and he was so mad because he took so long to beat just the first 4 levels. And
Yeah,
I could just take that for granted, just blow past them. They're almost nothing. But I imagine it would have been really tough not having much to go with on that before. It probably would take forever. But I just love that.
oh yeah.
I don't know if he ever beat it, but maybe he did do a lot of video games back before it went 3D.
Do you know that when if you play Super Mario Brothers, you get to the first castle. If you're in Fire Flower mode, if you shoot Bowser 5 times, he changes into his actual form. So when you shoot him, he falls down like a Goomba. Then in the second Bowser's castle, a Koopa Troopa, and the Buzzy Beetle, and then until the final one when you shoot him, he dies as Bowser. He doesn't die as as an imposter. So I don't know if that's something you've ever noticed. It's not just you don't just have to hit the bridge to collapse. You don't have to collapse the bridge in order to beat him.
Yeah, I've definitely fire flowered them in the first couple. I never would have made it to the last one with the fire flower. I don't think. I've always been like, oh gosh, let me just run under him with all his hammers to finally beat it.
You know how tough it is. Like in the I mean, there's the to get to the final Bowser, there's this big big distance that you have to jump over, and then of course there's the fireball that goes up and down, and then you have the Hammer Brothers in front of that. And if you don't have the fire flower, you have to figure out how to get past him because he jumps really quickly, and he's throwing hammers at you. So it's tricky. It's really tricky. So and we got someone in the chat. We got Staple Bow himself. Staple Bow, what's up, buddy? So yeah. So afterwards, stay tuned. Go to the White Cloaks afterwards, and Dane's going to be running March Madness. Basically, are you gonna be doing anything? Did you fill out your card or something?
Oh no, I haven't done much on there or on mine really much, and probably a little before season 3 started, about 6 months now.
Did you watch season 3 at all?
No. I've only actually watched 2 episodes of the show, and then I watched season 1's rewatch. I know what happens through most of it, just reading plot summaries and stuff like that, but I haven't watched it.
Did you know that they killed Loyal? Loyal falls into the dream world. So I'm assuming
in the ways.
Oh yeah, sorry, the ways. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I watched the show. That's how much I know. And then they kill Suwan, and she literally they somehow decapitate her. Who else do they kill? They kill Eamon Valda. They kill him. I think he gets burned. They burn him, and then they kill Matt's mother.
Yeah, that one's weird.
Yeah,
I could see the Swan one with what they'd already done with Moraine. Swan, her big arc is kind of redundant after that point. That's why they shouldn't have done it. But yeah, the other Eamon Valda and Matt's mom and all that, and Loyal especially, is just kind of strange to kill them off. If you're planning more seasons, at least I would think it'd be strange.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already killed him off in season 1. Like he gets stabbed in the heart, but then he comes back for no reason. They don't explain it either. So, oh well, whatever. That show's dead and gone, and I'm grateful for that. So, so have you going back to some Nintendo stuff? Have you been keeping up with like Switch 2 and everything?
Yeah, I was really annoyed because I missed the initial pre-order, and then I saw them in Walmart like a couple days later and passed on getting it at that point because I don't really care about Mario Kart that much. But thankfully, finally, Amazon opened up pre-orders. Like they're finally selling consoles on Amazon, and I just requested an invite, and like 2 days later, they sent me an invite to buy one. So I got mine last week. And I've been playing a little bit of Mario Kart, and I played a little bit of DK today.
Oh, you got DK? How is it? I know AC was streaming. He was streaming it earlier. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty solid.
Yeah. The redesign on DK is always going to annoy me, I think. But when he looks angry, when he's got an angry expression, he looks fine. I just don't like his giant arms and stuff like that. made it more comical than it already was. But he is definitely very expressive, and the game's, at least the first introductory bit, I've only played a little bit, but the first introductory bit's fun, and the destructibility, that's mostly what I'm worried about. Like that could just become very tedious. The actual your momentum and your movement and everything is pretty fun. When he's punching and stuff, he always has forward momentum, so it just carries you through as you're playing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become a slog, or it hasn't yet. It hasn't become a slog just pummeling through everything. But there's a lot you can pummel. So if you're one that just wants to kind of just knock down the entire environment to just kind of find secrets and stuff, that could get really tedious. But maybe they've got some language.
That's something that's something I had a little concern about. So
I'm
yeah,
hoping
I mean,
they telegraph some of that stuff if there's something hiding back there. Hopefully there's some sort of telegraphing going on. Some of it I've seen, but I haven't played it enough to know. They're usually good about that in their games.
Yeah, I mean, so are the bananas basically like the stars and the moons and all that? Like in
So
Mario?
far, the bananas are like the stars, yeah, like more like the moons in Odyssey. So far, like you don't. It doesn't
There's
pull you out of
gonna
the
be like a
level or
billion of
anything.
them. I think if I remember correctly, there
Probably.
were 999 moons in Odyssey, which I've never collected more than half, because it gets to a point where the game gets so tough. It gets so
Yeah.
hard to play. It's just like it's not even worth it, in my opinion.
I think I
So
got to the darker side of the moon, and there's some level where you had to speed run a traversal, and basically had to do like the roll and like the diving roll, and like do that across a bunch of stuff. I never. That's kind of where I stopped on that. I never got past that level.
yeah. Yeah, same here. I don't even think I played that at first. I got through the main story. I was considering playing more of Odyssey, and then it got to the point where I played as much of the Peach's Castle, because it was a great, nice little throwback to Mario 64. So
That was
like,
after the credits?
yeah, that was after
Okay.
credits. I really enjoyed that part, but other than that, yeah, after that, yeah, some of the stuff just got too hard to the point where I was like, it's not even. I don't know if it's even worth playing it anymore. But I love that game. Is it my favorite? No, my favorite still goes to Mario Galaxy 2 in terms of 3D games. 2D games, for the longest time it was Mario 3. But then after playing Mario 3 and Super Mario World back to back, Super Mario World's got the edge, even though it's got less power-ups, but the levels are longer, the levels are better designed. I mean, the music is, tied for me, but
yeah, I think I like 3 better. Though I will caveat it, it's 3 with the all-star versions of 3, like with the better graphics. I normally don't mind NES graphics, but Mario 3 on NES, I don't like how it looks. Like when you're the Fire Mario and you're just orange instead of stuff like that, it just kind of bugs me. So the all-star version of 3 is probably my favorite, because it's kind of got the world aesthetic with the 3's gameplay. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think I still prefer the original. I think I still prefer the original Mario 3 over. I mean, I'll be honest. I remember when All Stars came out. I honestly, I think I was 8 years old. It came out around the same time the Mario movie, the original live action. Busty Big Bertha. The big fish in Super Mario 3. Well, in that movie, she's a big busty woman that manhandles Mario, or Bob Hoskins Mario. So. And then I thought I was watching it with I was watching it with Prophet of the Dragon and his kids. His kids hated the movie. Like, they're like, this movie sucks. I'm like, you're absolutely right. And I was like, I was looking at Prophet. I was like, hey, oh no, I know why they called her Big Bertha. Now I know why they called her Big Bertha. This movie's not for kids. This movie's not for kids. So, but going back to Mario All Stars. I was surprised, I was expecting the original look of the game. So when I first played it on the Super Nintendo, rented it, I was shocked at like the graphical upgrade, that you're talking about. Like, it blew me away, and it felt like I was, even though it felt like I was playing a brand new game, even though it was basically the same game, same physics. I think the only thing that was changed was, I think, even the first Mario Super Mario Brothers had very similar physics. They just changed the sprites, obviously, for
Yeah,
obvious reasons. So,
I think there might be something a little different on it, but yeah,
well, they
it.
changed
I can
the
play either one, so it's close enough that it doesn't bug me if I played
coin.
the original so
Well, they
much.
gave Coin Heaven its own theme. So in the first Mario, because in the original game it was just the star theme. The star
Hmm.
theme was
Hmm.
also the Coin Heaven theme. They gave Coin Heaven its own theme. I like the background graphics of Bowser's Castle, like especially you see the columns in the background. It's very sinister. And I don't know if it's maybe it's only the last level, but when you get to where Bowser is, you see a big portrait of him, just like
Hmm.
folding his arms. I'm like, okay, you're getting close, and I like that. I like the little aesthetic. I don't know about you, but I really.
And he looks better too because I've never liked the original. I like the original Super Mario Brothers graphics better. Like I'd rather play that one for whatever reason, even though it's more primitive. I just like it. Except Bowser, I don't really like his look. He just looks so much different in that one compared to all the other uh, games
Yeah, that's
later because he
yeah,
doesn't have the orange hair, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
um,
You didn't. I don't even remember what like they had him look like if you see the original artwork of Super Mario Brothers and how Bowser looked, like I think he had like a gray face, if I remember correctly originally. So
hmm.
yeah, it was very different design. And then yeah, I think Mario 3 came and they modified it. Um, honestly though, Lost Levels was the game that I really wanted to play with Mario All Stars, because I never heard of this Lost Levels. What is this? And then I didn't realize it, but it was the same game that was depicted in my, because when I got the Super Nintendo for Christmas, my parents bought me the Mario Mania game guide, which was basically the Super Mario World game guide. And there was a little section in the margins that said that there was a Japanese version of Mario 2, which
Hmm.
that I didn't know about. I was like, "Can we get that Mario 2?" My parents were like, "No, it's in Japan. We have to go to Japan to get it." So so this was I think right before Lost Levels came out, and then I realized Lost Levels and the Mario 2 from Japan were the same game. So to this day, even though it's on the Switch Online, it was on the Virtual Console, I have not beaten Mario 2, the Lost Levels, the original on Famicom or NES or however they did it, because unlike the All Stars version, if you die, get game over, you have to. If you're in like World 5, let's say you get to 5-4, you're very close to beating it, but you die, you get game over. You have to start all the way back in World 5-1. Now you don't get game over. You don't have to start at the beginning like the original game, but you have to start. You have to go back. It takes you back to the beginning of the world,
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
it gets frustrating, especially when you get to World 6 and World 7.
Yeah.
And what I forgot, because I was playing All Stars version of this, um, I forgot that there were additional levels after World 8. There was World 9, World 10, World 11, World 12. I was like, holy crap, I forgot all about this.
Oh, I didn't know that went that far.
They do, or at least in All Stars they do. I don't know if the original game does it. I'm assuming they do.
My introduction to that one more so than the All Stars was the Mario Brothers Deluxe on Game Boy Color. They
Hmm.
redid the first game and had the lost levels. So I played it on that and got all the way to 8-3, I think. And there's the end of that level. You have to jump across Koopas to get to the flagpole. And they're like flying.
Yeah.
And so you have to like jump off of a bunch of them to get across and like time it perfectly. I don't think I ever beat that, so I don't think I ever got past 8-4 to know. I might have to go back and actually try that, especially on Switch where you can do the rewind and stuff. That probably wouldn't be that bad. Um, and go back and restart that exact section, see what's above it. I didn't. I figured it capped at 8. I never knew it would have went higher.
It did. It
Oh,
kept going. Like the game
that's
is a
gotta be
massive.
brutal.
The game is a massive troll. Like you're like, okay, cool. I'm on top. I can get to this warp zone. This is World 3.
Yeah,
I'm in
it
World
takes
3.
you
I'm going
back
to the
to
warp
World
zone.
One.
The warp zone. There's one pipe. Oh, it's World 1.
Yeah, I got
Fuck
that
me,
one. Got
Moto.
me
What the
too.
hell? So yeah, the game is just like, yeah. And so like, I'll be honest. I think Nintendo of America. I mean, now, I think at the time, I think Nintendo of America made the right call because they're like,
Yeah.
we know this game is a troll. It's going to piss off, U.S. consumers. We're not releasing this. So, and I'll be honest. I mean, I like Mario. I like the Mario 2 that we got.
Did you ever play as Luigi on Lost Levels? I don't know if All Stars version if he's slippery, but he's so slippery in
Yes.
the original. That's horrible.
Yes, I did. That's why I stopped playing as Luigi. So
Which I never knew that's where that came from. Like I knew he had the higher jump and everything in our Mario 2.
yeah,
But yeah, he had it in Lost Levels too, and the slippery like on Smash Brothers where he's kind of slippery and stuff. It's
yeah.
kind of from that too. It's like wow, okay. But yeah, he's horrible to play as.
And I liked how the color of Luigi in the original games, it's like he's wearing the white, he's wearing white overalls, and he's wearing the green
Yeah, he's
shirt.
like got his fire flower outfit by default.
Yeah. So, oh, we got another comment. Nice. Got Trip showed up. What's up, Trip? How are you? So, I mean, I've been watching, like, I kind of really want to replay. I have you played? Have you played? How you feel about 3D Mario's? Like,
Um, I don't like Sunshine hardly at all. But I generally like them, especially the of the past. I guess in Super Mario World, they're by far better than the 2D ones. New Super Mario Brothers are okay, but they're just kind of okay. They're not great. And then Mario Wonder didn't do it for me either. So the 3D ones are much
I'll be
better.
honest, I haven't finished Mario Wonder. Like, I played a little bit of it. I just find I find the setup weird. Like, it's like you have to pick an ability and then play the level with that ability. It's just so different from what I'm used
Yeah,
to when it comes to a Mario game. And I don't know if that's the thing, is I don't know if it was that thing that was off putting to me, or that I kind of lost interest playing, and I haven't played it since it's almost maybe a couple of years. I played it for like a few weeks, and I put it down. Same with Echoes of Wisdom. The one where you play as Zelda, the one that
yeah.
I was just like, okay. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I played a little bit of it, and it didn't really gel with me, so I stopped playing it. I've been meaning to go back to it. Like, I haven't like completely written it off yet, but I just haven't really had any motivation to return to it.
It's fun, but it doesn't have. It's kind of like the Mario ones too, where it's just bland's not quite the right word, but it doesn't have something to pull you through it. Like the Zelda ones, once you've seen a couple of the echoes, like you kind of get used to using those. You can use those to solve most stuff. I mean, some of the puzzles are fun to try to figure out other ways to do them, but like there's no hook really. Like once you've seen the echoes and you've seen, okay, well, this is just a new variety of an enemy that I've already seen. You don't really care. So it
Yeah.
kind of it's easy for it to lose you because by the time I finished that one, I was ready for it to be done. I liked it, but I was ready for it to be done. And same thing with all the new Super Mario Brothers games. Like by the time I get to World 8 and Mario Wonder, it's like I'm ready to be. It's like ready for them to be done.
Yeah, when the new Super Mario games, I will play those to completion. I even played. Have you played New Super Luigi, where it's all like, that you have a very limited time limit.
Hmm.
So every time you start the level, it's like da 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 da.
It feels more like Mario 3. Yeah, I liked new Super Luigi U partly because you get to play as Luigi by default. But
So is Luigi your preferred character? Hence your
always,
avatar. Okay,
always.
I
I was
forget
always player two. I was always player two. I was the younger brother, so
your
always had to be
younger
Luigi.
brother. Okay.
So he kind of stuck in. Is I like green. That's the color I like. So it kind of just worked. But yeah, I've
Yeah,
always liked him.
I liked, yeah, you couldn't really play as Luigi in the original Mario unless you were, player two. Um, I first played as Luigi playing, I think, Mario 2, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Mario 2 was, and then the way he jumps, with kind of flurries his feet as he's jumping and all that. Um, yeah, I used to play as him as Princess. Now, as now, like, but ever since I was like, teenager, every time I revisit Mario 2, I'd always play as Toad. Pull the vegetables up really quickly. Uh,
He just can't jump.
not being able to jump. That's the only thing. Toad cannot jump because Toad was based off of the dad in the original game that they painted the Mario characters over, Doki Doki Panic. So, but you just press down and then he springs up, you know.
Did you like 3D World when they brought that back?
What
Four characters and they had the same abilities as Super Mario 2. They like Luigi could jump higher, Toad
yeah.
was faster, couldn't jump.
You
Princess
know
could
what? You know
float.
what I did like that they did bring back. I like the curtain player select theme. So that if you listen to that, that is such a crazy theme. Like in terms of it's a very very brief theme, but it's hard to like hum it out because it's just all over the place. But it's
Mhm.
awesome at the same time. And they use that for the like I think it's like a slot machine thing at the end of a level or something, if I remember correctly, or like a special stage, you know. But yeah, I did like that. I liked the fact that you had to play as a certain character in order to get a certain, you know, what was this? Were they? Yeah, the certain power stars or something. So you had to like there were certain buttons that were exclusive to
Mhm.
them. So yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I thought 3D World is a good game. I like 3D Land as well. They're not as
Mhm.
good as Galaxy and
No.
Galaxy 2, in my opinion. That's
No.
just me. But I think they're solid, you know.
The 3D World was hurt because of the isometric view that they had. Like the 3DS, you at least had the depth, which helped. Like it
Hmm.
actually helped. That
Yeah.
was one of the few ones that the 3D actually really mattered. But going to World that didn't translate as well. So it's like Princess Peach was so much better just because you had that play to you didn't have to be as exact because you just couldn't tell where you are sometimes. Like they had the
Yeah.
shadows and that
Yeah.
helps, but it's just easier when you can see the depth. So when
Yeah.
they
I
took that
agree.
away, it's just like I kind of wish you just did a normal 3D game like y'all been doing. It was still fun though, and
Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah. My perception of depth was challenged by that game. I haven't felt anything like that since first playing Mario 64. Playing 3D for the first time took a while to get used to. So,
yeah,
um,
mine was Ocarina of Time. Like when I started playing that was my first like open walk around 3D game, and gosh, I was so so bad. It's so hard.
the Z targeting really helps. That's why they put the Z targeting. That's why they developed that little system in the game. So, um, but Ocarina's, you know, Ocarina. I think I had the most fond memories of ever playing a video game. So that's
Yeah.
why, like, you know, that's why when I made that video, I made that video the longest because it was the one that I had the most appreciation for. Came out perfect time. It got me really interested in the hero's journey. It really got me interested in fantasy. And I mean, my church was already talking about like Lord of the Rings was already announced at that point, and everybody in my church
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about it in Sunday school. I was in eighth grade at the time, so I think the year later, I finally got myself to. I growing up, I haven't really read a whole lot of books. I haven't not been a big reader because I was in special ed. I always suffered from reading comprehension. Every time the teacher, every time, you know, after school, after recess, we would have to we our teacher would read a book, you know, after
Hmm.
school, or not after school, after recess, and then we have to sit there and listen. And me, I wasn't the type to sit there and listen. Like I would just think about other things. Like I'd be thinking about, like, you know, getting home and playing, you know, playing like Mario or something. I'd be thinking about that instead. There was only one book that was so interesting to the point where I listened attentively. And believe it or not, that was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That was the
Oh,
one
okay.
book. That was the one book that I listened to attentively when I was in grade school. But I was never really good at reading. I didn't like to read that much. I started reading The Hobbit in freshman year, and that kind of helped get me interested in reading fantasy. And then I read Lord of the Rings, and there were so many words. I didn't have a Kindle or a phone back then, so I couldn't just highlight a word and look it up on the fly. Like I
Yeah.
had to have a dictionary in order to do it. So I there were a lot of words that I didn't I there's a lot of words I didn't know what they meant, or I didn't know how to, put together what Tolkien was talking about. But I got through it. And it was fun to read. And yeah, it came, it got me interested in reading. It got me interested in fantasy and overall. So, and so that's how I got into. I watched the Lord of the Rings films, and then Game of Thrones came out. Played a whole bunch of Elder Scrolls, and then I started reading the Game of Thrones books, and something something brought me to Wheel of Time. So I read the first Wheel of Time book years ago. I thought it was okay, um, but it didn't really hook me to the point where I wanted to keep reading. And there were things I really liked about Eye of the World, like the prologue. I remember the prologue being crazy. I was like, "Holy crap! This prologue is wild!" Like everybody's dead. What's going on here? But then we go to the present, and there's very little mention of Luce Theron and all that. And I was just like, oh, okay, all right. And then things just kind of happen for no reason throughout the book. And I was just like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm fully buying some of the stuff going on here. But I liked how it ended. I liked how the first book ended, but
Mhm.
it didn't really. It felt like everything got concluded, so I didn't feel like a need to read
Mhm.
more of it. So, of course, regretted that. But you know, and then I started this channel, and then met Prophet of the Dragon. We did Better Call Saul stuff, and then I met a whole bunch of toxic book cloaks, and having fun with you guys. I decided, I'm gonna revisit the Wheel of Time, and I'm still revisiting now. And I finished Path of Daggers today. So, and I listened to. So I've known about the slog for a long time. So I went into I went into Crown of Swords, and I went into this book, with very low expectations. And I listened to Mike's book reviews, and he had nothing but he had very little positive to say about Path of Daggers. So I kind of went into this one with even more caution and with even less expectations. And to be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of issues with it. I mean, there were some that I did, but overall it didn't. Overall, I actually enjoyed the book. I actually really enjoyed all the Rand stuff. I really enjoyed the Fog of War. Like one of the issues I had with some of the earlier books, and I'm sorry, I know I'm babbling right now. One of the issues I had with some of the earlier books is I felt like our heroes are overpowered, and there's not enough. To me, there's not enough stakes. There's not enough. I feel like there's not a whole lot of challenge to them, even though they're going through all these, you know, very, I can't think of the word. Uh, they're going through these really hard times because people are constantly trying to kill them and all that.
Mhm.
um but I honestly didn't feel like they were. I never really felt. I haven't really felt scared for them, especially Rand, until now. Well, I did
Book
revisit
six,
the
probably.
Threads Burning. I did revisit Fires of Heaven, and I understood the stakes. I finally understood the stakes the second time I listened to it. So, but I felt very scared for Rand this time, even though he's the Dragon Reborn and he's almost all powerful and all that. And it seemed like he wasn't safe because of
Yeah.
all the Vietnam-esque uncertainty that was going on in this. So, and he wasn't safe. Like he was hit. Someone tried to assassinate him, like
Mhm.
someone nearly assassinates him, and and he gets hit. He gets hit by, I think, gets hit by an arrow or a coral or something like that. So
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Yeah, they let some Sanshan get behind enemy lines. Someone is out of position. Lets him
Yeah,
through.
the one that always wants to charge. So I think there's
He's the
more to
best.
this guy. I think the High Lord Weramon.
Uh-huh.
I think there's more to this guy. I think there's more to him. Like, obviously Rand doesn't trust him. None of us trust him, but I think there's more going on. Like, I think that was set up on purpose. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Read and find
He's
out.
fantastic. He's fantastic. Just his constant blustering and wanting to charge and sweep everyone away. He never
It
changes.
it gets like I was surprised. I was surprised that he sends Narishma to get Kalendor,
Yeah.
because I love that. I love that scene where he's like, "I have a mission for you," and he's like, "If you tell anybody, I'll kill you." I was like, "Oh, okay, what's going on? Okay, what's going on here?" So, uh,
So what are your thoughts on that? When he went to go pick it up, he said that he was almost killed because Rand didn't tell him everything. What do you think was going on there?
I
Do you have
think
any theories?
Rand. That's a good question. I mean, I think that maybe I first I thought Rand was testing him. But then after that, I'm like, I'm not so sure. Maybe he somehow forgot. Maybe 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 he's not all there. I don't know, honestly. So
We don't ever find out. I think my assumption has always been it's a Forsaken put some traps around there as well to try to get Rand when he came to pick it up, and Narisha almost ran into one of those. Since
can they do that? Can they put traps in proximity to other traps or something like
yeah,
that?
they could put one over his. Yeah, they could. And if they
Okay.
inverted it like he did, like he went back and did, he'd have no way of knowing. So
I'm
so
curious now because I always thought like, there would be this big especially the way he brings everybody in the stone together,
mhm.
makes this grand announcement, and he's like, "Hey, you think I'm not going to come back?" And then he takes it and he puts the sword in the ground and it causes a big boom to the point where even Nynaeve and Elaine on the ship can hear it. I think even Perrin,
Yeah.
everybody hears it.
Mhm.
So what's funny is we hear it in the chapters before we actually see him do it
Mhm.
in the chapter that
Because you're
in
like,
the
what
Shadow
was
Rising.
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I thought that was an interesting use of time. So
I like that it was just stolen away secretly too. Like you kind of put it there to, hold them there until he comes back, and then he just has someone come and steal it in the middle of the night.
yeah, and it was like, okay, I was like, okay, he's like, I'm sending you to get something and blah blah blah. I was like, oh no. Yeah, because I wasn't sure what it was, and then
I
he's like,
wasn't
it
expecting
comes, I wasn't
Calendar.
expecting it, and all of a sudden he has Calendar, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, Sean Chan, I'm gonna get you, and then he kills a bunch of them, but he kills his own people at the same time, and he doesn't even realize it. And then Dad from Bashir has to knock his ass out.
That scene's so good too. Like with all the lightning bolts coming down, like that would just be. I want someone to draw it or animate it or something. That would just be fantastic. Where he's just screaming at the heavens and the storms
I
blowing above
am
him. Yeah,
I am the storm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
be
was
so good.
awesome. I'll say that. I really enjoyed that. I liked how, yeah, so I like how they won their little battle, on the mountains and all that.
hmm
And then Brand's like, I'm the Dragon Reborn. We're gonna go further. We're gonna press. We're gonna take Altar. We're gonna take Ebodar.
Push
Yeah,
him to the sea. Yeah,
that didn't happen. So
he could have too. That's the like if it wouldn't have just if he didn't go psycho and start killing all of his men, it's like they were primed to do that. But yeah, I love that whole campaign where the Sean Chandler just like there's 60,000 men out here fighting us in all these different fronts, and he's got like 6,000 men if that. So
yeah.
I'm thinking he's got like 10 times the numbers,
Hmm.
um, uh, and then both sides leave thinking that they just got crushed or that they lost, and it was like, well, Rand really didn't. I mean, he lost a bunch of the Ashamen are bad to lose, but the other troops and stuff are retainers to people that aren't loyal to him, and he didn't lose that many compared to the Shan Chan.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I think he pretty much had a resounding victory there, Rand, but he feels failure for the first time, which I guess is important. But it's like, yeah, you didn't lose that one. It's like you got them out of Ilium. That was your whole point. So
Yeah. And I liked how he feels he lost, and then Moose Theron's like, no, no, I never lose. I never.
yeah,
I like that reaction. So I like how Luce Theron was like, I never lose. But then when a certain Cat Swain ever comes into the picture, he hides behind Rand, like he's afraid of her and all that. So
I
um,
like I like that part too, where they go to an that was in this one, wasn't it? Where they go to Intimidator. Yeah, it was in this one.
yeah,
Um, uh, I think it was after the fog of war scene, right? And
yeah.
and she's
She's
just
like,
kind of sitting there calmly sipping tea while he's like trying to do all this menacing like aura about him.
she's doing some yarn work and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I liked her in this one, or that part especially, where yeah, she just does not care.
I would just, if she's gonna be like, if she's gonna be like that, why not? No, let's just send her to fight the Dark One. If she's that great, I mean, so far I'm not really impressed. All I know is that she's everybody's like, oh, she's the best.
She
She's
takes
this
no
cool.
nonsense.
She's this great. And I'm just like, okay,
Her rumors about her, they've obviously been exaggerated and stuff, but like if you go and read the companion entry for her, which stay away from the companion for now, but like the stories in there that she supposedly did are just awesome. Like some of the stuff like where she's kidnapped rulers. I think she mentions them in some of. She may
she
have already
said
mentioned some.
she says, oh, you're a king. You're wearing a crown. That doesn't impress me. I've spanked a whole bunch
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
I've
She's
spanked a whole
she's
bunch of them.
kidnapped like sitting monarchs and like uh spanked them. She took one and she kidnapped, I think, a sitting monarch to go gentle him and took him to Tarvalon, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. Maybe his brother or something. But she has reason to be as cocky and confident as she is. Besides her, she's just stronger than every other living Aes Sedai right now. She has other reasons to kind of not be afraid of Rand per se, or to take no nonsense from the Aes Sedai. So there's more to her than what there seems to be. So
So she wasn't just created to replace Moraine, like Dane always says.
well, I mean that's essentially that's the role she's in, kind of. But but her general aura about where she's just she brooks no nonsense. She's completely unafraid of Rand, or seemingly unafraid of Rand. She's confident in pretty much anything that comes up because, like I said, she has reason to be. She can go toe to toe with quite a lot of people. You don't really see it, but she can go toe to toe with the best of them and hold her own pretty well. So with some of the tools that she has, so
Okay,
but
I see.
yeah, I like her. A lot of people hate her, and once Sando takes over, there's at least one scene there that I really didn't like her in. I thought was pretty out of character for her, but in general, she's annoying, and you're supposed to not like her. I think, but just like Nynaeve, I kind of like it when we read.
I like how a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not supposed to like this character. You're not supposed to not like. You're supposed to not like this character and all that."
Yeah,
I mean, I like bad characters. Like
yeah,
I can like a bad guy, that does bad stuff and still like him. But if it's a character I don't like, it's because I don't like them. It's because
yeah,
I don't even want to read them. Like they're not interesting enough. And
yeah.
they're not interesting enough to want to read and all
Oh,
that. So
what did you think about her revelation to Rand on the about Kalendor, like the
oh,
flaw?
about the fact that there's no buffer and all that, and
Mhm.
he has to link with two women and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I figure the first thing I thought was, well, Robert Jordan has to put a limit on that, because I remember you remember the Shadow Rising, you remember the stone stands, he goes and runs and grabs Kalendor, and the first thing he does, and I think he was trying to do that with the Shan Chan, and he failed. He tried to do the almost simultaneous lightning attack that killed all
Hmm.
the Shadow Spawn. Well, it didn't work this time, so I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work this time. Is it because of how much Sidene he's used compared to Shadow Rising?
Does it say? I can't remember if it said he was trying to do that exact thing or not, but
I th-
he was just throwing lightning around like crazy though. But Sidene was acting weird. So in addition to him just
does that ever get explained? Because they say, oh, everyone was talking about, oh, Sidene is all out of whack. Even the Damani were reacting to something was going on in the area or something. I don't know if that's ever.
I don't think it ever is explicitly said what it is, but what is going on is the Bowl of the Winds. When they did the weather thing and
Yeah.
adjusted the weather, it strained the bowl to because it's way like more than I think, or somebody said that's only really supposed to take care of like a hemisphere, or like a small amount, or like a local area, and instead it was at least continent wide. So it's basically was stressed beyond its parameters, and it caused weirdness in sighting inside R. So it's from that. It's an after effect from that. And because
Okay.
they're as they get closer to Abu Dar, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So I don't know if Rand. I'm assuming Rand was affected by that a little bit, besides just the general madness, where it's just harder to control. So he's just doing crazy stuff.
what about the unraveling the weave, the door? Does that have anything to do with that as well?
I don't think so. I think it's strictly the bowl of the winds.
Bowl in the winds.
Hmm.
Okay.
Especially for it to be affecting Sidene, because that was used, like the bowl used it, versus the gateway would have just been Sidar.
I liked how so finally so we first learned about the Bowl of the Winds and Lord of Chaos. We finally use it. I was like, are they gonna they're gonna use it at the end of Crown of Swords? I was wrong. It wasn't until like chapter like wasn't until like chapter 5 or
Hmm.
6 or something that they finally used the Bowl of the Winds, and then right after that is when the Sean Chan come in and all that. So um I liked how afterwards, like right away, winter starts, and I liked how Jordan was very consistent on the weather throughout all the different chapters. Like it gets cold and it's snowy in Tarvalon, it's snowy where Perrin is in
Hmm.
Gildan. It's was it snowing in Ilion where Rand was?
I don't think so. Yeah, I know there's a bunch of storms coming in, but I don't think there was snow. I could be wrong because I know normally there is no snow because most of the Illioners don't even believe in snow.
If I
Um,
remember correctly, it's right by the. If I remember correctly, they were like right by the ocean too, weren't they?
they're down by I think one of the bays, yeah, for part of it. But yeah, there's supposed to be storms roll in. I can't remember if they comment on snowflakes actually falling, but I don't think so. It would be in keeping because the winters coming on really strong this that year though, making up for
Yeah,
lost time.
but yeah, it's hit Kyrie and it's hit almost every it's hit almost everywhere else, and I like that I like that consistency and all that. So, um, another thing that I thought was interesting that they finally I was like wondering when are these kingdoms going to come into the picture, and it was the prologue finally had the Borderlands
Hmm.
all the Borderlands people come together and like, okay, we got to find out what's going on. The thing I didn't like about that, maybe it's because I like the early books, and the early books covered Shinar quite a bit. I liked
Hmm.
how Shinar was kind of pushed to the side in favor of Saldaea. I'm sorry, I gotta say it the way uh, uh, Kate Redding says it. So I don't know. I just it's a personal thing with it. I don't know. I don't like it. I just didn't like it. I liked the Shinarans. I liked Lord
Hmm.
Agomar. I liked Ingtar's redemption. I'm surprised that it's never been really been mentioned post Great Hunt, to be honest. So
That's true. Same for me. The Borderlands kind of take a big backseat, and it's by far the most interesting area.
I loved like especially hearing Ingtar talking in the Eye of the World talking
Mhm.
about how like it's not unusual to be like they pick up they've learned how to use a weapon they fight they just it's fighting as part of their culture because they're always being attacked by shadow spawn and all that there's always raids and and that's just I liked how there was I forget who he was talking to. I think he was talking to Perrin or something about that, or maybe Rand. I don't remember in Eye of the World. And I liked learning more about the culture and of course Huron. I loved Huron, especially at
Mhm.
the end of Great Hunt. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
sniffer.
Well, you got the New Spring prologue. It takes place a good portion of it in Candor. You can read that one.
I'm not sure I'm planning on reading New Spring. Maybe not until long after I finish not until long after I finish the series. So um but yeah, what's funny is I now I know why Huron's not in the story anymore, or he hasn't been in the story for a while. I mean, he was the sniffer. He sniffed out all the bad guys, and he sniffed. Now all the women sniff all the time. Like all the women sniff, so you don't need Huron to sniff anymore. All the women just sniff all the time to the point where I'm just like, okay, all right. Ramonda sniffs, Elaine sniffs. Everybody, all the women sniff. Like it's, they just sniff. I
Especially the Aes Sedai, yeah.
I think I don't know when that started. Like that started. I don't know if that started in Lord of Chaos or it started in Fire or in Crown of Swords because I think it was a more recent thing that Jordan started doing.
I could see, I, I could see it being accentuated in Lord of Chaos, just because that's when you start getting a lot of the Saladar stuff. And you get a little bit before that, but
Salad bar,
yeah.
salad bar.
But that's where you have Egwene in there, and it takes a bigger seat at the table. So I could see it because that's where you get a lot of it, or at least it seems like you get a lot of the sniffings just Aes Sedai. So
Yeah, Egwene. So like, it's just me, maybe because I have such terrible ADHD and all that, but I'm waiting for Halima to do something. I mean,
yeah.
I'll say this. I'll give credit in the very final chapter with Egwene. I like how like her main servant's like, how come the other two ran away and I have to
They've
do all
all
the work?
disappeared.
I'm like, I don't think they ran away because I think there was an earlier section of the book where it was from Halima Arengar's point of view,
Mhm.
and I think she was burying somebody. I
Mhm.
forget. Yeah, so I'm assuming that's them. I'm like, okay, what's going? Where is this going to go? Where's this going to go with her? Like, I'm just waiting for her to like just like try to eat Egwene or eat one of the Aes Sedai or something. Like I'm waiting for Arengar to turn into like a monster and just kill a bunch of people. But I'm sure that's not going to happen. But
No, no. Don't get your hopes up on that.
I'm just curious. I mean, yeah, it's a read and find out. But I'm just curious where it's going. It's been over 2 books now. I need something. I need something. I need something to pay off from this.
Yeah, the that one is one of the weaker Forsaken plots. I get it, and it makes sense what she's ultimately doing, but it's like seems like they could cause a lot more havoc than they actually do, especially when you have someone planted like Halima is. But
I mean, Egwene's getting headaches, so she's doing something right.
yeah,
She's yeah.
it could be
So
doing so much more.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, killing a few servants, sure. Yeah. Get rid of Ramonda. get rid of Lee Laners. Get rid of those two.
No,
Nah.
no, actually, no. I think that would be a bad idea for him, to be honest, for what they're ultimately
Yeah.
trying to do. But I just think they could, like, from Lord of Chaos, the ultimate goal was to sow chaos.
Yeah.
I think they could do it more effectively than what they're doing. But technically, what Halima's mission is, she could be doing a worse job, or it's reasonable kind of where how she's positioned herself and what she's doing, and kind
Mhm.
of the back seat that she's taken where she hasn't really, because she does much more. I mean, it's going to excite people to start investigating things besides just
Yeah.
runaway maids. So
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm curious where that's going to go, and of course there's this other one that I heard doesn't really pay off as much either. It's the Ciane and Pivara one where
mhm.
they're playing good cop bad cop looking for Black Aja, even
Mhm.
though Elida didn't specifically say to find Black Aja. She just said find there's a traitor amongst us, and Elida just said that so that they could somehow trace it to Alviarin because I liked how in this one Alviarin's just is in total control of everything now. She's smacking Elida around. She's just controlling her. Elida's crying in her pillow. So now I feel it's kind of like with it's like you have a bad guy that I'm feeling sympathy for. Kind of like with if you've seen Game of Thrones with Cersei and the Sparrows.
Oh no, I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Well, there was a point where, well, let's just say there's a point where Cersei gets some type of revenge, and it was very cathartic to watch. It was a lot of fun. So I'm hoping there's something equivalent with
What
Elida, even.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of like where the Lida thing ends up in a lot of ways. The for the Black Aja hunters, what if who's the most recent person that they've kind of started investigating in that book?
Um, they found what was her name? There was they one of the sitters. One of the
Okay, they
sitters
found the
was her
sitter
name
Black Aja.
Talene? Was it
Yeah.
Talene? I think it was Talene. I liked how it ends. It ends with she's like, I don't want to. It's an abomination what you're trying to do me. I like, oh, is it? get over here. You're taking the rod, and they I like for how like I like how it ends with that. Like Jordan doesn't have to spell it out for you. You just read in between the lines the scene,
Mm-hmm.
and so he doesn't. That's the one thing I've had to learn how to do. I've had to learn how to read in between the lines when reading Wheel of Time, especially because there were things that even I missed reading the first time. So especially with Fires of Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and like even though I still think there's a lot of plot armor, I was not convinced that Matt and Avienda and Asmodean were dead. I was hyper fixated on Asmodean because he's he was one of the bad guys. So I knew his days were numbered, obviously, watch enough shows, read enough fiction to kind of know this trope already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Then
so I
he
was hyper
immediately
fixated on
dies.
him. Yeah. And then they all came back because of the balefire effect and all that. So yeah. Only for Asmodean to die again.
Yeah, to immediately die again.
Immediately die again. So I was actually disappointed because I was actually hoping that there was there was a potential redemption arc for Asmodean.
Not even for me the redemption. I just thought he was one of the most interesting characters because of the little tidbits you would get from him in Rand about some of the Age of Legends stuff, where
My
he was just a
my
vehicle to have Rand talk about stuff from the Age of Legends, like the other Forsaken and stuff like that.
Yeah, my favorite chapters in the Fires of Heaven, especially I think was chapter 3, was definitely one of them, where Rand was getting all going all Darth Vader on him,
Mm-hmm.
and they had this great conversation. Like it was one of the few chapters in the Fires of Heaven that I was because I was walking and I was listening to it. I was listening to the audiobook, and I was actually a lot of the audiobooks, like lose I will lose attention because of what's being talked about is not really interesting. That chapter in particular was very interesting, very good. I liked how Jordan wrote the conversation, the very um, tense conversation between the two of them, and I liked how the book later when bringing the Master in Time, I liked that same thing, except unlike Asmodean, Master in Time is just he just straight up dislikes totally and all that. Like Master in Time is just like a straight up villain, whereas Asmodean, I think, is the more interesting of the two.
Yeah, oh yeah, he is. And his little line, I think it was probably closer to the end, closer to the battle, final battle stuff, where he was talking about the holding onto the tuft of grass.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I love that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I liked how Asmodean was like and pissed off. He's like, because I think Asmodean was the one I was telling him about the nature of linking, and you need to
Mhm.
have at least one woman for a whole bunch of men to link, because men cannot link by themselves. They need at least a woman, whereas unlike the men, women don't need men to link at all. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. She's like, why? He's like, why is this? It's like, I don't know. Why can't fish fly, or why can't fish grow wings and fly, or something like that? Something like that. So I actually really did enjoy that. I really did enjoy those conversations and all that. So I was honestly hoping like Asmodean would last a little bit longer, and somehow die for Rand. But that's just me. That's just me. So, but I
Yeah,
think
have a
that
little more meaningful death. Yeah, that would have been
I
interesting.
don't think. Yeah, and I don't think. I'm not sure. Like I know Sanderson. I think the first thing Sanderson asked, Harriet when he was given the job, he's like, I want to know what happened to who killed Asmodean. So that did get spoiled for me. So I unfortunately know, and so I don't know if there's more to it, or I don't know if Jordan had more. I don't know if there was more to it than just that. So
it it being spoiled, all it does is you just miss out on the speculation. There's very little in the way of more hints and stuff like that. It's just the only way you can know is if you really kind of read through who could possibly be here, who could have. You have to just narrow down who could it possibly have been. But there's nothing like that. It really spoils for you, like to know that this person, because it doesn't really tie into anything
I
else.
heard the Golem was one of the potential suspects. And I was like, no. The Golem would just like tear you limb from limb and then
Yeah,
leave you, or
yeah.
eat you and then leave whatever's left. I don't think there was anything left of Asmodean.
He just vanished, right?
He just
Yeah,
vanished, and
because Rand thinks he ran away.
yeah, yeah. So Rand's like, I'm gonna hunt him down and all that. I don't know. I was hoping Rand would be a little bit more curious, like, is like, is he alive? Is he dead? But I guess not. I mean, he's too busy ruling and all that. So, um, and he can't really say anything because nobody
Hmm.
knew that Jason Natal was, well, Asmodean. So,
Yeah, the only
he was
person they
harboring a
knew is gone.
Forsaken. No one knew except who else knew? I don't think anyone else knew, right?
Moraine knew.
Murray knew. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't tell her, but she knew.
Oh, she did. Oh,
Yeah, that was in her note. She told him her letter to Rand was just saying, don't trust or be cautious around Mister Jason Natal. She said, I don't think I approve per se, but perhaps there was no other way. So she knew he was Forsaken, and she knows because she has her little her stone that she can eavesdrop with. That's one of her little tricks she learned before going to the tower. You see in Fires of Heaven and whatnot, and probably some in uh, Shadow Rising. You see her and the wise ones clustered around her as well, and they're like looking at her while she's holding like a stone in her hand and stuff. She's eavesdropping on Rand, and so she does the same thing when he's in there learning from Natal and stuff like that. So she's keeping tabs on him all the time. So
okay.
she knew all sorts of stuff going on. And just because she was spying on him.
Yeah, and of course, why is she spying on him? Well, she's from Kyrian, so she knows the game of houses pretty well. So,
But yeah, her letter made it. It was you had to read between the lines, but she knew it was him.
okay, I'll have to
That
revisit.
whole part, like that, all that with Moraine, in the waste especially, book 4, book 5, Moraine. That's on a reread. That part's so much better because you see all the stuff where she knew she was going to die, and you see like why she made certain decisions. If you like read closely and read between the lines, you see like there was a fight where she doesn't immediately go to Rand, like, and Rand makes like an offhand comment to himself, like where did she go off to or something? Because normally be like, oh, we're being attacked. I got to go to make sure Rand's not dead because that's her whole purpose is to get Rand to
Yeah,
the last battle. She goes somewhere else, and there's a reason she goes somewhere else. And just a whole lot of little things like that where you just notice as you read it, you notice things that are informed by her going through the Terangrial and Ruidian that
hmm
you might notice on your first read and might just like, oh, that's odd, but you don't really know why. And once you have the full context, you can kind of go through and start noticing a lot of those little things.
okay, interesting. It's been a while. So it's been a while. She fell into the gate in Fires of Heaven, and
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen her. We haven't seen her since. It's like her. I always compare it to like Gandalf falling, with the
Mm-hmm.
Balrog, except this time the Balrog is Lanfear.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess in a way she's worse than the ball. She's more terrifying than the Balrog. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm curious about Lanfear, so I'm not convinced they're dead. I mean, you fall into a thing unless you see a body, they're not dead. And plus, there's that. I mean, I what's weird is I didn't forget this. There is a prophecy, or there was a moment where I think it was Dragon Reborn. I don't know if it was men or somebody tells Perrin, if you see a very beautiful woman, run. So like Perrin and Lanfear have not met yet. So I'm
Yeah, they
I'm
have. They have.
convinced
They have.
at this point in the story.
Mhm.
No, I
They,
went when.
Shadow Rising, I think. Was it Shadow Rising?
She meets Matt in the Dragon Reborn
She
as
meets Matt.
Selene.
She meets Perrin in the dreams. I thought in
Okay,
Shadow Rising.
in the
Because
dreams.
because
Okay, so
Hopper.
I don't know. Maybe he dreams her in the Dragon Reborn. I don't know if he meets her though, but they
Yeah,
meet in
Dragon
the
Reborn.
Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
Okay, if Dane says so.
Yeah,
Well,
she
they
meets
don't
him
meet.
in
They don't
dreams.
meet in the flesh. They meet in. Oh yeah, that was her. Okay, that was her in the dream, I guess. Okay, yeah. When they're in the mountain and he's dreaming, then he wakes up, and then the Trollocs attack and all that. Is that why the Trollocs are there? Because the fact that they dream, the Forsaken know where they are because of the dream world.
Probably not. The
Even though wasn't there supposed to be like a barrier? Didn't Moraine put a barrier up around the camp in the Mountains of Mist in Dragon Reborn, so that they wouldn't be found by Shadow Spawn, and they were found anyways.
the the I don't know if they've actually mentioned this. I don't think they've mentioned it per se, but the Forsaken have ways of, and it's nebulous on how you know it, but they have ways of reading the effects of Taverin, like reading the pattern. So some of them can kind of tell where uh, Rand is based on that, and so for that part, it could be that that's how they get there because they kind of can kind of hone in on him, even though he's kind of isolated. I don't think it had anything to do with the dreams, but Rand's dreams were unshielded at the time, so they could have been spying on
When did he
something.
start? I forget when he started shielding them. Was it Fires of Heaven?
It was Fires of Heaven, yeah. That was the first thing he had Asmodine teach him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because they yeah. I mean, Eye of the World. Yeah. But Balsamon just completely like chasing you every dream. I wouldn't want to dream if I was him either, especially with a
But
crazy guy with a fiery face.
but yeah, like Ishamael was one that could kind of read where the effects of the Taverin and find Rand pretty much wherever he's at, so to speak. So I don't know if it was ever said who sent those Trollocs at the very beginning of the Dragon Reborn,
And
but he
and
was in
Dragon
play,
Reborn.
so
Okay.
it could have been him for that. But that's my understanding. Is just kind of they can find them wherever they're at, especially Rand. Or if you have multiple of the Taverin together, you have the bigger effect, so they can just find them.
I see.
But not all the Forsaken can do it, and there's somewhere someone mentions that it's harder than they let on. Like you act like we can just do this, but it's tougher than it sounds like.
Okay, there's another thing I'm waiting for a payoff on, and that was end of Crown of Swords. So he's chasing Samael and Shader Logoth,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a point where the ground beneath him collapses, and he's
Mm-hmm.
holding on for dear life, and some guy comes, helps him out. He's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, hey, bro. Uh, I've never seen you before, but you're driving Samael up the wall. And he's like, who are you? I'm not going to tell you yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, like I'm like, who is this guy? Is this another Forsaken? Is this another person from the Age of Legends? So obviously you can't say anything because I haven't gone that far yet, but I'm curious if I'm getting close to finding out who this this character is and how important he is. Okay, you probably can't say anything. Okay, fine. All right. I guess I'll keep reading and find out. Keep reading and finding
I
out, I
will
guess.
say I think for that specific character to know that that's the guy that Rand meets, I think you have to put a couple dots together yourself, at least for a long while. Um, I don't think it's.
Yeah, the only description I recall is that he was really tall, about as tall as Rand, and about as tall as Rand, and more rugged, I guess. I don't know, bigger than
And
Rand, I guess, stronger. Um, so I have a few suspects. It's either a new character or a few suspects. Um, I thought it was Osengar, but I don't think it's Osengar. I think Osengar is another character that may or may not have a plain face that may or may not have attacked Rand at the end of this Path of Daggers book that I just read. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't think it's Osengar. I think maybe it's Slayer, possibly. But I don't know if Slayer exists in the real world because in Shadow Rising he exists in the dream world, and then Lord Luke exists in the physical world.
though for Slayer, you see the guy do Bellfire. Slayer can't channel though.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I don't think it's Moradin. At least I don't think. I mean, I'll be honest. We did not see Samael die, even though, you know, Rand didn't feel anything. Maybe Samael, or maybe Morden. Morden was watching Samael and Grendel in an earlier
Mm-hmm.
chapter. Maybe he used the true power. Rand didn't pick up on it. He used the true power, took Samael away, and enslaved him forever. And he's forever in one of those little Corsivar, those little
Oh yeah, yeah.
Corsivars.
The dream trap things, yeah.
Yeah, the mind
Mind
trap. Yeah,
traps, mind
he's
traps.
the only difference is he's permanent. He's a permanent plaything for Moradin, and that's why we don't ever see him again. And everybody says he's dead. I don't know, but that's just me. I know Robert Jordan did. I think Robert Jordan actually debunked that. He said, oh, he's dead or
Yeah,
something. He
he
got
did.
eaten by he got a fate worse than Balefire. So he got a fate worse than Ravin. He got eaten by Mashadar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That was a lot of speculation because you don't see him, but yeah, he did come out and outright say that he's dead, 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 dead.
Yeah, like that's even like the fact that Rand had to Balefire. What was her name? Leah, the
Mm-hmm.
Aiel. That was another thing that I was disappointed. I was expecting I was hoping there would be a reason for her disappearance in Lord of Chaos. And I was talking about this, over Discord. I was hoping there would be like another reason, like there was something about Shader Logoth that we didn't know about, other than Mordeth and Mashadar. I thought there
Mm-hmm.
was something else. There was something else evil there that snatched Leah away, or that drew Leah to it, and it didn't really pay off. She just showed up. She just showed back up when they were there, and she got bail fired. She got caught, and he bail fired her so that she wouldn't get a fate worse than being bail fired. Which I didn't even think that was possible. I thought balefire was like the worst thing that could happen, because your thread is removed from the pattern, I believe, isn't it?
It's burned
When early
backwards, so
burn.
you die before you would have normally died. I wouldn't think that it's not necessarily like a fate worse than any other way of dying, because I mean you pretty much die instantaneously, um, but yeah, it just basically burns your thread back a little bit is all. It's no like real
You're outside of
ramifications or
time in a
anything.
way, yeah. But when you're eaten by Mashadar, isn't it like your pattern is completely consumed as well?
For supposedly for instance Samael, Robert Jordan had said, or I can't remember if it was him or if it was something Sando said later, but it was, yeah, the fact that he was consumed by Mashadar made his soul quote unquote unsuitable for the Dark One to resurrect. So something happened to his soul, whether it was fully consumed or just, you know, in tatters or whatever. So like some sort of lasting ramification on that one. Besides just, Balefire just burns it out so that it's outside of time. The Dark One can't grab it.
Yeah.
This one is like for some reason the
It's
Dark
like
One
it's
wouldn't
like
want to
it's like
grab it.
it's like they call it, and they call it the final death. Like if you die in like the dream world, you die in Teleron Riyadh, that's like the final death. I'm guessing it's the same concept. If you get
For
eaten by
Mashadar,
Mashadar, yeah.
potentially,
So you,
potentially.
you
I
could
don't think
never
it's ever
you could never
said
really
outright.
you cannot get reincarnated, if that's even a thing. Wheel of time, you come back.
Mhm.
Everybody's existed in an earlier age at some point. I'm just curious if if Rand's soul is unique from, and this is one of the interesting things about him and Luce Theron in his head. Like, are they the same person? Are they the same soul? Is Luce Theron's soul in his body with him? Does Rand have his own soul? Where does Rand's identity begin? Where Luce Theron's ends? Or
Mhm.
so it's it's really interesting, and I'm curious. I'm honestly really curious where this goes. Like is Rand partially insane? Is that why he hears Luce Theron? You know, um, so when I do know how book 9 ends. I don't know what leads up to it, but I know how book 9 ends by cleaning something. Um, I'm
Such a
curious. I'm
such a
curious if
moment to
that.
get spoiled too.
I'm curious if it. I'm curious if it has. I wonder if there's any ramifications for Luce Theron. Like, is Luce Theron going to stop talking, or or is that? So I guess that's definitely a reason to find out. You can't say anything. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah,
but
it sucks
yeah, I
that
am
part
looking
got
forward. I
spoiled.
am looking forward to book 9. I am looking forward to book 9 because throughout book 8, like are you sure Matt's alive? And Rand's like, yeah, he's alive. Egwene's like, and Talmanis is like, where's Matt? Hey, everyone, where's Matt? Oh, Matt's in Abu Dar. So I like how Robert Jordan's just like teasing, like, oh, I didn't forget about Matt. He's alive. He's just, or he's alive. He's just not in the, he's just not in the best shape right now. Like
He's
didn't
got a
like a
broken
building,
leg.
a building fell on him or something. So
He's got a broken leg and is at the mercies of Tyler nonstop. He can't get away.
yeah, and yeah, he's still in Abu Dar, and yeah, I'll be honest, like his story got me through, helped get me through most of Crown of Swords. I mean, there were some really good chapters. I really liked the prologue of Crown of Swords, but I think the Matt stuff, and I loved how it comes to. I liked how Matt had his little boss fight at the end with the Golem. That was one of my favorite moments because it was one of the few times where Matt was a little in over its head, in over his head. So, because I was hoping to see something like that with Couladin in the Fires of Heaven. That was something I was hoping to see, and
Mhm.
that we didn't see.
Got a
Um,
flashback, yeah.
so I was hoping that it would be like the Turok and Rand fight in or duel in the Great Hunt.
Mhm.
So I was hoping for something like that where Matt would, kind of, you take on like the best Aiel. Aiel would have his spear. Matt would have his, have his. I keep forgetting the name of his weapon, the
Ashendari.
Achandare, and they would fight, and Matt would level up. Matt would beat him, level up, and yes, and would earn even further respect from his men, and then the enlistment would go through the roof even further. So, but that's something I was hoping to see. So, oh well. But I really liked the fight with the Golem. I thought it was great. I thought there was a lot of high stakes. It was terrifying,
Mhm.
and I'm glad and the Golem is still around.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
curious. I'm curious. Like I'm curious now where that story is going to go. So I'm assuming it's going to have something to do with because the fact that the golem can get hurt by the medallion, by the fox head medallion. I'm assuming the fate of the golem is going to coincide with the eel fin in a way. I think so. Yeah, I know you can't say anything, but that's what I'm thinking. So I'm taking it that we're going to see the golem for a while. So that's
mhm.
just me.
He'll be
So
around.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to Winter's Heart for that reason because I know Matt comes back, and I'm pretty sure the Golem and Matt are going to have are going to have a rematch.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to where the Ashaman thing. I think the Ashaman and Rand stuff is really good in Path of Daggers. So I'm looking forward to where that goes with him going after Dashiva and Gedwin and the rest of them.
Mhm.
And yeah, my goal is to finish the slog this summer. I still call it the slog, you guys don't like to call it the slog. Want to finish the book up to book 10, and then the fall I want to get through the rest of the series. So my goal is to finish Wheel of Time this year. So
The last few should go pretty quick. Like at least with Sanderson's writing style, at least is a little snappier and stuff. So at least for my experience, it's faster to read, not necessarily um, as much to it, but it's at least fast. Like you can fly through them. They're big
yeah,
though.
I took a look
They're
at the
big.
I took a look at the prose, and the paragraphs are a lot shorter.
And he jumps perspectives a lot more too. So if you, especially in the last book, but um, so where I would always get bogged down is if you're in someone's point of view that you don't like per se, or you're not enjoying that perspective, and you just want to get back to Rand, and he at least jumps around a little more, potentially too much, but it does make it go quicker because you have more digestible stopping points to kind of keep you going.
So I figure, we're almost running out of time, so I have to ask you, what's your favorite? So what's your favorite Wheel of Time book?
Out of the World.
Eye of the World. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should have known. You and Dane were doing Eye of the World expert level
Yeah,
analysis. So
it's that.
I listened to some of it and then I heard a spoiler by accident and I
Yeah,
had
you
to
shouldn't
tune
listen.
out.
Yeah, don't listen to it. Not
Yeah,
yet.
I learned a certain character, certain Aes Sedai as a dark friend by accident. So yeah.
And then Shadow Rising's probably second, probably, and then Knife of Dreams is maybe third, right around Great Hunt. But those are
Okay.
both kind of closely tied.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've heard a lot of good things about Knife of Dreams. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. So, but yeah, yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for joining me for this discussion. I'd love to continue. Love to have this talk again. Everything has to have a sequel. Every Chilporial has to have a sequel. So, is there something that is there a hook to the next one? Are you my father's brother's nephew's former roommate? So what does that make us?
Essentially.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, happy to be on, Brian. It was fun.
All right. So yeah, I know. Yeah. Thanks for once again. I'd love to have you for. I have to figure out. I still haven't done a book club for Path of Daggers, so I have to figure that one out. And I'd love to have you on for one of them. I know you're really busy with stuff. I'd love to have you on for one of them. So, um, in the future. So, but yeah, for me, the only other Chilporial I have planned right now is 1 and 2 weeks with Nerd Takes. So definitely check that out at your leisure. Yeah, it's been a while since I've really done. I haven't done a Chilporial in like almost a month now. Yeah, I went to Philadelphia last week, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'd never been there before. It was everything. It was like going to New York the first time. There was homeless people laying on the street, and I like tripped on one. There was a crackhead I had to kind of dodge, and yeah, I felt unsafe for part of my trip. So that's the real Philadelphia experience. So, um, and then I saw Superman, and I was annoyed. I'm annoyed with today's entertainment. Honestly, I don't know if you saw the new Superman.
No, the only things I've seen about it pretty much are I don't like James Gunn's humor, and
His
it's in
humor is
there,
so
and
forced and so annoying. I'm just like, I'm not laughing at your stuff.
yeah, just do what I can't stand it. I would rather their stuff. If DC wants to do the movies, just make them more serious. That's fine. They don't need to have jokes all the time and little quips and all that. But them picking James Gunn was just a baffling decision. I guess they're trying to chase the Marvel train still, even though that hasn't worked. I guess they're still trying to do that, but
Yes.
like just come up with your own identity. And like the Pattinson Batman movie is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But like go more that route. Like do something different. But you don't need to have the quips. You can have your emotional moments and have them resonate, and you don't need all the humor. You can have, from what I understand, the Guy Gardner character has quips and stuff, and that's okay. Like for it to be him, but supposedly it's not just limited to him. And so I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I might watch it. I'll probably watch it once it comes out more broadly, but wasn't going to pay to go see it.
Yeah, and it doesn't really explain anything, and I wasn't even sure what Superman's arc was. Like to get Lois to like him or something. I don't know what his arc. I don't know what his arc was. I got out of the movie. I was like, what did I watch? What was I watching? So yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with Gun. I'm done with Gun. So
Yeah.
the rhyme was unintended, but there you go. So but I think I'm pretty much done with superhero movies at this point. I don't find them compelling or interesting anymore. So I mean, I can only imagine like if you're gonna do humor, you gotta be smart about it. Like, like I think it was I got a good laugh out of Path of Daggers with reading Perrin, this last Perrin chapter where he's he's going to see Massima, And he's like, the more I learn about women, the less I truly know. Less I truly know. That got a laugh. That was funny. That was funny. So, I mean, that's humor I like. You know, subtle, and if you know, you know. You know. So,
Yeah.
oh well. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it off here. There, everybody's already at the White Cloaks. So go over to the White Cloaks. The one person that's watching. So yeah, whoever's still watching, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream. Thanks, Pixcalcis for joining me. We're gonna do this. We're definitely gonna do this again. So
Yes, sir.
all right, let's see. So we did talk Nintendo stuff. So how should I end it? I'll end it like this. You'll appreciate this.